I want to go back to the conditions, the working conditions under President Judge Conahan. Congenial, authoritarian. We're trying to get a sense of what it was like to work in that atmosphere.
My personal experience was that it was reasonably functional, and that I recognized his style of leadership was different than that of Judge Agello, perhaps, but that each individual has a leadership style. And what I observed of Judge Conahan at the time was that he had delegated certain projects. As I recall, he had actually involved Judge Agello himself to finish the Penn Place project, because it had started under Judge Agello's regime, as it were, as president judge, and it appeared that he thought it would be best if he finished that project. What I recognized was that Judge Conahan was an extremely hard worker. If you looked at sheer numbers, I don't know that any judge racked up larger numbers of cases disposed of and guilty pleas taken and so forth than Judge Conahan. What I was somewhat distressed about toward the latter part of his administration was the lack of progress with obtaining additional courtroom space that had been talked about early on during his administration. With the burgeoning caseload, both civil and criminal, it became evident that it would be very helpful for each judge to have his or her own courtroom. And that project dragged. So that was a concern, but that was a project that Judge Conahan had taken on his own shoulders and had been working somewhat with court administration on, but it seemed to have gotten nowhere by the end of 2005.
And then the atmosphere under President Judge Chivarello, any different?
There was a different leadership style with Judge Chivarello.
At any point did you feel you were being bullied?
Personally, no. I understand that other judges may view that situation differently, because there were other judges who had assignments changed very abruptly and seemed to have a strained relationship with those in charge. That was not my experience. I generally had a compatible experience, but I was more concerned about the direction in which the court was going with its strategic planning and things of that nature. But getting back to your question on Judge Chivarello, it was evident fairly early on that he intended to and did in fact call more meetings of the court in bank. And it was the general experience looking back that he would set an agenda and he would identify items for discussion, and that more often than not, the action that would come out of the meeting was what had been Judge Chivarello's idea going into the meeting. But I will say that at least there had been discussion. And what's interesting with respect to the different leadership styles is that all of this might prompt a review statewide among the court as to the manner in which a court of common pleas or a court in bank should function. And that would be reviewing the whole process of what checks and balances there might be to limit the authority of a president judge, to essentially get better policies by requiring that whenever there are significant policy changes, there should be a vote of the court in bank. That is something that we've done informally during the past 8 months, and it seems to be working fairly well. But under the authority of the judicial code, the president judge, him or herself, could still make the final decision if he or she chose to.